y'all, I'm James Wright, and welcome to his shop. We're gonna have some fun today. So today we're here with JT from DFM Toolworks, and we're gonna be doing a walk around and show you a few things, but I thought we'd take a few moments here and ask a few questions because he's got some interesting things here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what got you into making tools?
I have been in manufacturing since I graduated college. Was a mechanical engineer and worked in automotive. I've been in manufacturing businesses all my adult career. And so back in 2018, I was at a product development space just about 20 minutes from here, 30 minutes from here. And I was a consultant and was trying to make some extra money selling products on Amazon. And so I made a wooden grill scraper out of cedar planks. And one of the reasons we created it is we saw that people were really interested in a safer grill scraper. So without the steel brushes and the wire that could break off and get on your grill. And back in 2018, there was a lot less competition on Amazon. So I made a couple hundred of these, sold them mostly to family and friends initially. And our differentiator was that step so that you could get between the grills grates. And then also for fun, we gave it this big bear claw that we machined a branding iron for. So anyway, this got me onto Instagram. And when I was posting these on Instagram, I had all these woodworkers come out of the woodwork and say, wow, what a cool project. You know, asked me all these questions about making it. And they weren't really interested in buying it. So it was more like what was important was that they let me know that they existed. And then I saw the wonderful woodworking community on Instagram and decided that maybe I could help them with some of the tools that I saw them using. And so that's what got me into making squares, which was really the first product that got us, and card scrapers, sorry. I skipped over card scrapers. And card scrapers were the first woodworking tool on Amazon.
That's what actually got the first connection with us, is looking at making the card scrapers for Wood by Wright. So, yeah, for you guys who don't know, if you buy a card scraper on Wood by Wright, it's actually DFM Toolworks card scraper.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so we were just using a shear to take big chunks of blue spring steel and turn them into card size pieces. The typical card scraper was 32 thousandths thick, and so we experimented with thicker ones, thinner ones. We found that most people still wanted the standard one. And so this shop is kind of the third iteration. We've been in 3 different shops. The first shop was tiny. It was myself and another gentleman who had his own machining business, and so we were just sharing the machine and the shop. And today we are in our own shop. I went full-time in 2019 and found that we were very busy trying to fulfill orders, and working for myself as a consultant became a little too much. So we grew a lot in 2020, 2021, and then we've kind of stabilized, if you will, in the last couple of years. So most of our products are sold on Amazon. Amazon is our biggest customer. So even though individuals buy our products from us, when you buy it from Amazon, it's really Amazon is temporarily buying it from us to sell it to you. Huh. At the last second. So we carry all that inventory until the purchase is made. We are prime, which means all our products are in 25 or 30 different warehouses across the United States at any given time. So that's how it shows up in 2 days or 1 day. It's not shipping from Chicago. If you buy from us on our website, it is shipping from Chicago. Every web order on our website.
What does DFM stand for?
Design for Manufacturing. DFM is a acronym that's used a lot in engineering. So I didn't come up with the term, but what was unique is nobody had used it for a tool company. So DFM probably means more to me than it does to anyone else.
So you make quite a few things. You made a lot of different things that have come and gone over the years. What are the biggest sellers, the things that are evergreen here? Yeah,
so the biggest sellers are the card scrapers, dowel plates, the small square and the small carpenter square. Those are, and the burnishers for the card scrapers as well. A lot of things that have kind of come in and out would be things like the diamond lapping plates. Some of the hammers that we've come out with have kind of, I wouldn't say gone completely, but we just don't make them as often because they're a little more expensive, and so they're just not as popular.
Or a niche audience.
Yes, very niche audience. Bit holders, which might make a come back at some point, but those attach to your power tool and hold. It's a magnetic bit holder for your bits. And what was special about ours is they're machined from aluminum and use neodymium magnets, so they're very nice. But you can also buy plastic ones on Amazon. So depends on what you want to spend your money on.
What's your favorite thing you've made that intrigues you?
I'd say some of the hammers have been probably the most fun to make because you're kind of sculpting something out of metal. And so the shape is more just whatever I want to make versus with a card scraper, there's a geometry that has to be. It needs to be, a flat plane with a sharp edge. Or even the squares. Well, I've certainly enjoyed, coming up with, for example, that indexing pin system on the small carpenter square. That was original to us. We should have patented it because now everyone has it. I think probably the most enjoyment comes learning from everyone on social media, right? So we'll post something, people will tell us kind of their input on it. That, and we made some pens and pencils.
Oh yeah.
Which were very high end. Not a cheap thing to make.
Felt fantastic in the hand.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't mean that they'll never come back, but it's limited release.
So what do you see coming up? Is there anything that you're wanting to experiment with to add in the future?
I will say a lot of people have asked us about the larger carpenter squares. Where we have been struggling is to come up with something that's unique, trying to not just have identical features and identical benefits as to a lot of other very good American-made squares out there. We don't want to be a Samsung to an Apple iPhone. We do have some other hammers that are going to be coming out that I showed you briefly that are much smaller. And so it may not be necessarily for woodworkers so much as luthiers or jewelers, things like that. So artisans instead of maybe just woodworkers.
So what kind of tools do you have here, your main makers?
You mean to make the tools?
Yeah.
The tools to make the tools? Yeah, so the mill over here is probably the biggest tool in terms of the size. It's about 14,000 pounds. The surface grinder is from the 60s, and it is also a very large machine. It's about 10,000 pounds. What's cool about the surface grinder is there's no computer on it. It's completely using relays and some very basic electronics to run the machine. And so what's also very cool about surface grinders is there's not a lot of wear and tear on them, so it's still a very accurate machine despite being older than me, or older than us. It's a 1967 vintage, or 66. I used to have one from the War Department era, so from World War II, and we had to retire that one, sadly. It was just too expensive to fix. There's no parts for this one either, so when it breaks, you got to make parts from scratch. And then we have our fiber laser, which marks all the parts that you see here, and we have a tumbler, which we can also look at later.
Oh yeah.
Which kind of evens out the finish after machining for the aluminum parts. It actually makes a micro hardness on the surface of the aluminum as well. So it makes it slightly more dent resistant by, think of it as you've pre-dented the whole thing evenly. Hit it with
Surface
rocks.
stress, yeah.
Yes, you've increased the stress at the surface. But also more importantly, it makes micro fillets or tiny rounding over of all the, so even though we chamfer everything in the mill, it makes a tiny little round over, which again just makes it a little more durable. But most importantly, it's really aesthetic. It really makes the finish look identical all around the part. Yeah, easier to read that way in terms of the markings.
I found it really fascinating to walk around the facility and see all the things that he is making and coming up with. And a lot of this, the hard work is actually in figuring out how to manufacture it. And being able to do small quantities in the U.S. is not an easy task. It is a very time-consuming and in many ways an expensive task, but well worth it. The quality that they are putting out here is absolutely amazing. And I love walking through here and seeing the detail and the focus that they put into everything that they touch, all of their machines and the way that they run things through. It's absolutely cool. And especially you go down to even the packing and the shipping and how they organize all of that. It was honestly a bit of an experience to go and see. So there you have it. I want to say a huge thank you to JT for having me in here today. And I absolutely love seeing some of the things you make. If you want to find out more, I'll have links to down below with all of his stuff. So if you want to see the items we've been talking about today, there's links down below to the store, as well as everything we've got coming up. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll have information on social media, because if you ever want to see what he has coming up and different things, Instagram.
I mean, certainly our website's always the best place to go. And then Instagram is where you can see what's going on in the shop.
Cool. So I think that'll do it for today. Thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw those down in the comments down below. That does help out the channel. As well as all those people scrolling over there are the patrons here. Without you guys, this channel wouldn't be. You guys pay to allow me to travel around and do different things like this. So thank you for that. That's why we don't have a sponsor in the middle of it. And you may have noticed one of the names up there is actually JT. So yeah, thank you. If you'd like to become like JT here and help us out, then think about becoming a patron. Links down below. I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. So you may have noticed some of the things we're looking at today were actually hardened, and you do that to make the surface more durable and the tools last longer. But knowing JT here, he's a very soft individual, so I don't know how he gets so hardened.
I don't know.
I'll come up with something a little better later.
Yeah.